Hello there friends and welcome. For today's Pathfinder guide we have another very fun build. As promised before, a Beast Tamer Summoner AZATA, so my second summoner. The Beast Tamer class actually surprised me because of how much synergy it has with the AZATA Mythic Path. As a matter of fact, I found myself having a lot more fun with this build than with my previous AEON Inquisitor summoner because AZATAs are the only Mythic Path that get a very special summon, the TREANTs. As early as chapter 3, you get to summon 7 entire TREANTs per rest. And these big trees are, well, everything you could want from a good summon. And you'll then get to combine the 7 very powerful long-lasting summons with your Beast Tamer ones that also last very long, for maximum summoner efficiency. And you'll have a true menagerie. We have angry giant trees, a dinosaur, AZATAs, prehistoric cats, and of course even a dragon companion, most of which are rather long-lasting too. Plus, through the AZATA path we can also benefit from the life-bonding friendship superpower to grant all of our teamwork feats for free to our summons, which highly increases their power. So without further ado, let us get into our AZATA Beastmaster Summoner build. I just want to first explain what you're getting yourself into if you go with a summoner in Ref. There's two major annoyances of playing a summoner in this game. First, the summons tend to kinda lag behind your characters, and second, they won't follow you through map transitions. I'm not sure why we have such a limitation in a modern game, but it's just the way it is. Also, very early game, well, your summons will be nowhere near as strong, I'm afraid, because they won't have high stats, many attacks, or extra abilities to support both them and your party members. They can still contribute a bit, however. And at the very least they will provide distractions for the enemy to attack instead of your own party. But if you stick around with them, you'll find them quite useful later on. And don't forget, ideally you want to buff your summons. You might not have many ways of doing so early game, but later you will. Just go for the same party-wide buffs that also just happen to affect your allies anyways, like Good Hope, Haste, Heroic Invocation, Bless, don't forget Bone Fists too, and so on. With that out of the way, let's now get into our Beast Tamer build. And Beast Tamer is amusingly enough a Bard archetype. Its main unique abilities are very similar to Monster Tactician from Inquisitor, which is the class I went with in my previous summoner guide. You get all of the summon nature line of spells for free. And most importantly, you can use Beast Call to have one instance of these summon spells on at the same time, with vastly higher duration, 1 minute per level, instead of just 1 round, which is very poor. The summon nature spells I find better than the normal ones from Inquisitor Monster Tactician because they are mostly all about melee. You don't really want spellcasting summons. The Mites are the first, and well, as the first summons they are kinda weak. At the very least, the Mites have 2 points of damage reduction, which can help early game. At Summon Nature 2, at level 3, which you can get as early as the Maze Dungeon very soon in the game, you'll get to summon multiple Mites, and this is the same logic for the normal summon monster line of spells. Once you get a new variant, you can summon either multiple creatures of the previous summon, in this case a Mite, or a single new one, such as a giant frog. Ideally you want multiple versions, you know, because action economy, more attacks, more damage. Now the Summon Nature spells get really good at Summon Nature 4, which you gain at level 7, because it's when you can summon multiple leopards. You can have even up to +6 at once. The leopards, amusingly enough, have an absurd amount of attacks per round, 5, right? It's really big, that's the equivalent of a level 20 character. Plus they also spam the charge ability, which is good because they have pounce, so they can full attack with charge, and also to close the distance between themselves and the enemy, so they won't lag as much as the other summons. The boars you gain right after, I'm afraid, are quite disappointing, so just keep to the leopards while buffing them further. Lastly, the best nature summon is without a doubt, as one might expect, the multiple SMILODONS you get as early as Summon Nature 7. SMILODONS, well, if you've played Kingmaker, you know how busted they are. They have 5 attacks by default, and with this build, you can even grant them around 8 attacks per round. It's really quite broken. Plus, of course, they are just as fast as the leopard and also charge at the enemy. Now, as I explained before, we are still a bard, so we get some nice bard abilities. First, your Inspire Courage song will be replaced by Inspire Ferocity. It's actually the same, right? +1 competence to your party members' attack and damage, including summons. So it's not just about summons, which makes it even better. and it increases in power at certain thresholds for a maximum of +4. You can also provide your summons with some automatic abilities, such as Magic Fang, the ability to penetrate silver and cold iron resistances together with even adamantine, which is crazy, or Greater Magic Fang later, so you won't have to pre-buff your summons with it. You also get Augment Summoning for free, which is great because it's a prerequisite for another great summon ability, Superior Summoning. And that's pretty much it, so let's get into our Beast Tamer build now. For race, I do recommend you go with human as always, because when I designed this build at first, well, I wanted this character to excel in a way that even if you are lacking in summons, your summons die, you are out of uses, you can still contribute quite a lot to your party so you can hold your ground. And for that we need a lot of feats to further enhance our martial side, together with summon boosting feats, teamwork feats too. There's a lot of stuff we need, thus going with human for the extra feat early game. It's not necessary, but it's certainly a nice early game boost. Play Solasta if you want a game where humans aren't OP. Now, for background selection, it's just a classic Street Urchin Pickpocket. It's just that the other ones don't really do much for this build. Having high initiative as a Scald or Bard can help because you can then use your Song ability if you get ambushed to buff your party members fast. As far as ability points, as I mentioned, I want this character to be powerful on his own. Therefore, we want to focus first into Strength, 19 at character creation, 12 Dexterity, 12 Constitution. You don't need high hit points because you'll be attacking either from reach behind your wall of summons or when riding Ivu, the Dragon Companion. Some Charisma can still help as a Bard. 16 is good enough. For that, just dump Wisdom to 8. Who needs to be wise when you have the power of friendship from AZATA on your side, right? I wouldn't dump Intelligence because when it comes to skill points, Bards do get a very special ability called Bardic Knowledge, which increases their ranks in all of the lore and knowledge skills by +1 per class level, so it's quite a hefty boost. Therefore, I suggest you focus into all the knowledge and lore skills, together with but 1 point into use magic device for extra versatility, such as divine spellcasting from scrolls. Now, as far as your level 1 feats, lingering performance is as always the must-have as soon as possible for any bard or scald. It essentially triples your song uses, right, by making them linger even after you stop singing for 2 rounds, which is quite a lot of time battles-wise. Battles don't tend to last longer than 2 to 3 rounds in ref, even 1 round later in the game. The most optimal way of using this is activate your song, immediately deactivate it right after because it's gonna linger anyways, initiate battle, battle ends, and then you just do the same before the next battle and so on, to conserve song uses. For the human bonus feat, my preferred pick here is Martial Weapons Proficiency because it can provide you with quite a lot of extra versatility. This way you can use any of the best weapons in the game. It's up to you what you prefer. It's also great for access to the best reach weapons early game, so you won't be in danger while attacking behind your summons. The best being Glaives and Bardishes, which, well, are the best early game weapons anyways. Later you can branch into, let's say, the OP Gravesinger Axe or anything else you prefer. Now, if you don't want to go with a human, you'll be missing this feat, so for that, because bards have simple weapon proficiency, they can equip long spears, which are also reach weapons early game, just that they aren't as good as the others I mentioned, but they're serviceable enough. In that case, you'll keep to long spears early, and be sure to pick another background other than pickpocket, preferably one that grants you proficiency in the weapon type you want to use later, such as craftsman and lumberjack, for axe proficiency. Once again, it's up to you. I like giving you the options to make whatever you want. As far as your level 1 spells, please remember that I already have an updated best arcane spells guide you can check to the right here, where I cover them all in depth, so for now let's keep it short and simple. Grease because, well, it's still the best early game spell. Even if you don't have super high charisma or DC boosting feats, Grease is still amazing to have. Together with Cure Light Wounds because bards are spontaneous casters, which means you have access to this whenever you want, without needing to prepare for nice early game healing. For dating any that allows the chaotic AZATA alignments, let's go with Desna because she's quite thematic for the path, and then Chaotic Good, the classic AZATA alignment. For level 2, keep increasing all of your knowledge and lore skills, and if you don't care for use magic device because you'll get enough bonuses from gear, buffs, and so on, you can start getting points into persuasion, as we'll have decent charisma anyways. Then go for Remove Fear, or just use it from scrolls, it's up to you. At level 3 we absolutely want Superior Summoning, as we already have Augment Summoning for free from the previous level, which will enhance the ability scores of our summons, and is a prerequisite for it. With Superior Summoning we get to summon one extra creature per multiple summon monster spell. What this means is, Summon Nature 1 only summons a single might, so it does nothing. But Summon Nature 2, if you choose the multiple mights, you'll get an extra from Superior Summoning, so it always helps. Then go for Unbreakable Heart. Look, this build can also go with a focus on Charisma and Hideous Laughter and the Best Jokes mythic ability. It's just that I've done this build a lot of times in the past before, and I wanted something different for now. More summon focused. At level 4 increase Strength, which is also what you want to increase on all of the other levels. For your first level 2 spells, Heroism is the best pick, together with Blur, or you can pick Mirror Image as well for more defenses. For level 5, Combat Reflexes as usual because we won't have space for it until much later. And it helps a lot with your teamwork feats, and you will share them with all party members including summons. For another spell, Mirror Image. There's also Glitter Dust if you want. For your bonus Bard feat at level 7, Combat Streak, and now it's time for Outflank as always. Remember, you'll share it with summons later once you become an AZATA, and this can really increase their damage potential. Any other level 2 spell here, might as well pick something like Cure Moderate Wounds, or already get started into Sense Vitals. Even Rage can help your summons too, let's pick it. For level 7 you have two choices, Power Attack if you want extra damage because you'll be wielding two-handed weapons, or Improved Initiative. I'd rather Power Attack because at this point we start getting a lot of nice buffs to further empower our AB to make up for the penalty. Any other level 1 spell. For your first level 3 spells, absolutely Good Hope, one of the best party-wide buffs including for summons, and of course Haste, the most OP of them all. For more level 3 spells, Displacement for extra concealment. And then at level 9, Lunge is the way to go. I always pick this with my two-handed builds because it's just one of the best fits in the game, right? Having even higher reach is amazing, especially from when you start riding Ivo the Dragon Companion pretty soon. Any other level 3 spell might as well pick Remove Curse. At level 10 you most likely want Sense Vitals, because at this point, well, it's starting to scale quite nicely for free sneak attack damage. Then for level 4 spells, definitely Echolocation to bypass Concealment and Freedom of Movement or Greater Invisibility. For level 11, as always improved critical into your weapon of choice. To me, Great Access because Gravesinger is quite good, and like I said, I want this build to have as much power as possible even without summons. Any other level 1 spell, amusingly enough you even get access to the normal summons as a bard, but there's no point in picking it when you already have the nature ones for free. And they share the same slots. Then Greater Invisibility, together with Dimension Door in preparation for Chapter 4 and the secret areas there. At level 13, well, it's time to get started into the classic Shatter Defenses package, so first weapon focus into your weapon of choice, Great Axe to me. Any other level 3 spell, together with Greater Heroism and Greater Dispel Magic. While you won't have as high caster level as a Merged Lich or Angel, as a spontaneous caster it helps you have Greater Dispel. For a bonus Bard feat at 14, Combat Streak, and Dazzling Display. Any other level 2 spell, and honestly any other level 5 too. You can even get a Summon Elementals, but they aren't going to be as good as the ones you already have. Then at level 15 you'll want Shatter Defenses at last, just in time for all my other builds and the Frightful Aspect spell to proc it easily. Sadly you cannot share this with summons or party members. Any other level 5 spell. Now, as strange as it might sound, you don't really want to go higher than level 15 as a Beastmaster, and the reason is simple. At level 17 you upgrade your summon spells into the Nature Allies 9 version, and you can't really choose, it's going to be replaced by this one as far as the Beast Call ability. The problem is the Nymph variant is quite bad compared to the SMILODONS. Nerades and the Hamadryad are caster mobs and quite weak. And as far as the Mastodons, it's not that they have bad stats, but the main issue is their size is absolutely massive. They block the entire screen. And of course they're also going to block your own characters and barely be able to attack due to how fat they are. True, the TREANT summons are also big, but they aren't as wide, right? So their hitbox isn't as overwhelming, plus they attack from reach. So ideally, you'll want to retain the access to Summon Nature 8 for multiple SMILODONS, which are the best anyways. For that, of course, we have to multiclass. It is sad that we won't get to pick the last upgrade to Inspire Ferocity and also the Greater Magic Fang, although we do get this as a spell. Of course, you can keep the build as a pure beast tamer. Just understand that you'll be mostly relying on your trends, because the Mastodons and the others I mentioned are more trouble than they are worth it. Of course, you have many different options. My preferred pick here is Fighter and Mutation Warrior. I do think it fits a beast tamer character, which I imagine is a more wild type of bard. The extra feats you'll get are nice, although not necessary at this point. Plus the mutagen, which of course is OP, together with weapon training right at level 5. But like I said, you can go with anything else you want. Amusingly enough, you even qualify for Dragon Disciple or Eldritch Knights, so go for them if you want. For level 16 as a bonus fighter feat, Improved Initiative at last, or Power Attack if you didn't pick it before. For level 17, pick Cleave, because right at the same level we can also get Cleaving Finish, which of course provides a free attack per round. For level 19, we get to pick Weapon Specialization because of the fighter levels, which is great for this build. The last feat can be anything you want. You might as well pick, let's say, Hammer the Gap, although it's not really that useful, but well, it can provide some extra damage, minor at least. And don't forget, weapon training into whatever weapon type you chose to specialize into, for me, Axis. And that's it for the Mutation Warrior normal build progression. Now let us cover Mythic Progression for our Beast Tamer Summoner build. For the first Ascension you have a few different choices. Bit of Fun is my preferred pick here because it increases all of your skills, and we have a lot of the knowledge and lore ones as a bard. The extra mirror image ability is decent enough too. Close to the Abyss will clash with your rich weapons, while Close to the Heavens can provide a nice enough healing ability that scales quite wonderfully in both uses and power. It's up to you, I'm just be going with Bit of Fun. Now for Mythic level 1 the choices are given. I mean, we are a summoner build, so for once we want Ascended Summons. It does take a while before this gets really good, right, because it's based on your Mythic ranks to further boost your summon stats, but at the very least, even at Mythic 1, your summons will already automatically ignore any damage reduction the enemy might have, except, well, impenetrable ones anyways, which can help keep their damage high. For Mythic level 2 you have a few different options. You can go with Mythic Power Attack here if you picked it at normal level 7, or Extra Mythic and 2 choices. Abundant Casting can provide you with, well, a lot more castings of your most powerful bard spells, level 1, 2 and 3, because a lot of the best buffs in the game are here. Or, amusingly enough, this build can also pick Master Shapeshifter right now, because, while I'm pretty sure the game doesn't tell you this in the Beastmaster description screen, you do get access to all of the animal aspect spells as a Beast Tamer, and they are classified as polymorph now, without changing your shape, so you can retain all of your normal attacks, and still benefit from the boost to Master Shapeshifter, which of course is amazing, +4 to your physical scores. Which is why it's my preferred pick here. For Mythic 3, Ever Ready as always, it's really one of the best Mythic abilities. For AZATA spells, well, focus mostly on the buffs, but chances are you'll be using the AZATA Mythic spells, which you gain for free anyways, you don't have to select them. For Mythic 4, as always, Mythic Critical into your weapon of choice. Now for your first AZATA superpower, for once I'll be going with Life Bonding Friendship because it can really increase the power of this particular type of summoner build. While for Monster Tactician you already automatically share your teamwork feats with summons, that's not true for Beast Tamer, so through Life Bonding Friendship we can overcome that. After all, you share your teamwork feats with everyone, including summons. Sadly, the secondary effect of letting your characters avoid death based on your Charisma modifier, it will not work for summons, which is rather disappointing because it could really increase their survivability. Anyways, we already have Outflank, so what you want now is Precise Strike, because it's yet another boost to the damage of all party members, including summons. And nowadays, this will be irresistible even if you have ways of penetrating the enemy's damage reduction, such as from Ascended Summons. For Mythic level 5 you also have a few options. You can go with Abundant Casting now, but I have both a Scald and a Bard on this party, so I don't really need it. Another fun ability to pick now is Leading Strike, because at this point, you'll already be able to ride Ivo the Dragon Companion, and Leading Strike can highly increase your damage. For the second teamwork feat, you might as well pick Shake It Off for higher saving throws to everyone. For Mythic level 6, Mythic Power Attack at last. For the second superpower, Incredible Might is the way to go to further increase our melee potential. Plus, at this point it will provide you +6 to attack and damage as morale, which is well higher than the strongest spell in the game that does the same. Second, at this point, Chapter 4, you can also get the Ring of Triumphant Advance to double it to +12. Together, of course, with the nice stunned, prone, instantly killed, debuffing effects on criticals and charging. For Mythic level 7, well, you can go with Mythic Charge if you have someone to provide palms, like a Scald ally. Or you know, there's always abundant casting, because like I said, Haste and Blur remain useful through the whole game, and more castings of them is fine, it's up to you. For Mythic level 8, choose between Mythic Initiative or Mythic Specialization, which is what I prefer. For another superpower, well, it's up to you, but Zippy Magic can help a lot, as it lets you apply your most powerful buffs on 2 allies at once, including Believe in Yourself. For Mythic 9, anything you want, you might as well pick Last Stand now just in case. As far as Mythic 10, either Initiative or Weapon Specialization, depending on what you picked before. For the last superpower, anything goes now. You might as well pick Supersonic Speed or Marvelous Endurance for a very high amount of regeneration. Even all skill for bonuses to skill points too. We already have everything we could want at this point. Alright, now let us cover gear for our AZATA Beast Tamer Summoner. And some items here matter a lot for any summoner build, so it's going to be somewhat similar to my AEON Summoner. For the Amulet, Valexias of course, because you want as high strength as possible when we get close to 70. But earlier, don't forget, there's also the Amulet of Epic Songs, which will increase the number of Bard song uses you have. Armor doesn't matter much, we have Reach, we have Pets, we have Summons to block enemies. So just go with Chain Shirts and later Mithril Chain Shirts. Now for clothing, this is extremely important. You absolutely want the Source of Dividing Power, which can be found at chapter 3. Right at Resin, whenever you are wearing this, all of your summoned creatures will get either holy or unholy added to their attacks. And well, these are some of the best damage properties in the game, especially holy, which is always what you want for 2d6 extra damage against any enemy in the game. While it says Divine Power here, it will work with your Bard summons too. For belts, well, ultimately Aurodan's belt is of course the best choice to increase your attack and damage even further, plus the other OP boosts. But before that, just belts that increase strength. For gloves, you absolutely want Fencer's Gift, since we did get fighter levels for weapon training. Boots don't really matter, you might as well go with Runic Sacrifice or anything else you want. For helmets, well, headbands that increase your charisma, ultimately Darkness Caress, but don't forget, early game you also have the very powerful and useful Hat of Heartening Song, which will add regeneration to your song abilities to all allies including summons. Glasses don't matter much too, I just went with Broken Trickster, which can grant you extra charisma earlier in the game, right at chapter 3, so you combine it with the Hat of Heartening Song for longer, as Darkness Caress is very late. Plus the extra tanking ability can help just in case. For cloaks, the AZATA cloak is rather subpar, so just go with resistance that has the highest modifier. Now for rings, Triumphant Advance of course is the must-have, but especially for an AZATA build, since it will double your morale bonuses, and well, you have plus 10 morale to attack and damage from Incredible Might, plus a potential plus 5 morale or plus 10 with this ring to every single one of your stats from the Believe in Yourself buff. The other ring is up to you, there are many choices. I just went with the Ring of Summoning here because I think it fits the build. This ring will increase the damage of all allies, including summons, but ideally, because it works as an aura, you can also have it equipped on another ally. Although, it does let you cast the Summon Monster 8 spell once per day too. You can go with the Rings of Evasion too, as we do have high reflex as a bard. And don't forget, one of your party members should absolutely have the Clemency of Shadows Crusade Relic ring. It's not just one of the best rings in the game, but it's especially useful for summoners because whenever a summon or any party member dies, you'll get to summon a spider for free, and well, it works even on the summoned spiders, right? Even if they aren't powerful, eventually you just end up drowning the enemy in spiders if you want to go for that. Bracers also don't matter much for this build, I just went with a Brutal Slot here, but for most of the game, just keep to the engraved Lucky Braces you start the game with. Now let us cover weapons and Quickslots. The most important weapon is the Stormcaller Spear, which can be found at chapter 4, I believe. Whenever you summon a creature, it will gain an additional 1d6 points of sonic damage, which is great, especially when you already consider Holy from Source of Divining Power and the Crusader's Edge spell. It's not optimal to keep this equipped, however, because even if you trade for another weapon, the bonus will still remain, right? So ideally you just want this before you cast all of your summon spells. Now I decided to go with the Gravesinger weapon ultimately, because well, it's the best weapon in the game and I really wanted this character to be very powerful even without summons. But you can go with any other weapon, ideally high critical range weapons, falchions, scimitars, rapiers and so on. Early game you absolutely want to go with glaives and bardicias as usual, or if you didn't go with human, long spears. Now quickslots are very important too for a summoner. The Triceratops statuette is here because unlike the Inquisitor AEON, we don't get a pet for free. With this we can get Bismuth, the dinosaur companion, which is fun for a summoner build, right? Most importantly the Brazen Whip, to increase the attack of all your summons, and I'm pretty sure it stacks with haste even. The Tankard of Free Spirit is here because it does let you get summons for free and has even higher benefits if you are an AZATA. Besides that, the Old Grimoire, because like I said, bards have very useful level 1, 2 and 3 spells. The Duality of Conjuration and Summoning can provide extra summons if you want. There's always the Signet to increase any skill of choice, Divine Scrolls because you have UMD, Extend and Lesser Extend Rods to double the duration of your spells, the Lucky Dice can provide minor bonuses, even Jarsigax, the Dragon Familiar for extra melee damage. Well, alright friends, so this was it for my Beast Tamer AZATA Summoner build. If you found it useful as always, please remember to like, subscribe, and even consider becoming a channel member if you can. I truly appreciate your support. Thank you for watching, see you next time friends.